look back, Commander.
3 months.
He's got Nick's strike down.
Well, jam the signal.
You never find Nick's body.
You know the protocols.
Hey everyone, it's Adam here. I can't see a guy. Welcome to the Movie Vault. I got an email, well, a comment off somebody on YouTube who likes my movie reviews. You know, he's a big fan of the Movie Vault, where I do movie reviews and rants on certain movies. You know, and he's a big Halloween fanatic. There's also another person out there I want to give a shout out to, the Michael Myers fanatic. Hope you're having a good day, and I don't know what you're going to make of this rant. I don't know if you like this movie, but I certainly didn't like this movie, and I'm talking about Halloween Ends. Okay, now I've reviewed all the other Halloween movies. You know, we've both got different opinions on the different Halloween movies, but I usually say this at the start of every single Halloween movie that I review. You know, and like I said, I've reviewed them all, including the one in 2018 and Halloween Kills. But one I didn't do was Halloween Ends. And to be honest here, I forgot all about that, you know what I mean? I mean, somebody said, you haven't done a review on Halloween Ends, you know, please do a review on Halloween Ends. Okay. If I must, you know, because I'm going to be honest with you, I did not like Halloween Ends. I think it's a terrible film. I actually went to the cinema with a friend to go and see it, and to tell you the truth, it was such a forgettable movie. I thought the plot was terrible, I thought the characters were terrible. You know, everyone keeps on saying, oh, it's a different movie, you know, it's different from all the other Michael Myers movies and all that kind of shit. And you're right, it is different, but that doesn't necessarily make it better, you know what I mean? Now, I like the Halloween movies, well, some of them, you know. I'm a big fan of the Michael Myers character. You know, got my own collection of all sorts of shit of Michael Myers and the Halloween films. Okay. Now, the very first Halloween movie, which came out in the 70s, I love. That's a great horror classic, and in my opinion it was the scariest Michael Myers. You know, how he was silent, he stalked everybody. You know, 1 minute he's hiding behind a bush, the next minute he's hiding in a garden, you know, behind the washing line. You know, really good, you know, a really good film, you know, especially with the Michael Myers character, how he's like very silent and very stalkish. It was the scariest Michael Myers, in my opinion, the one in the first one. And the second one, which took place in the hospital, the direct sequel, again, it wasn't planned. John Carpenter wasn't planning on making a second Halloween movie, but he did. And to say the truth, I like that movie as well, where it took place in the hospital, where Michael Myers was basically ashes at the end, you know. He had no plans on making any more Halloween films, but the film itself was pretty decent. Now, Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, I mean, I got bashed big time when I said I hated that movie. But I've rewatched the movie. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but still I'm not a big fan of the movie. Yeah, everyone gave the movie shit because Michael Myers was not in it, you know, and that movie got a hell of a lot of shit. I don't agree with all the bashing it got just because Michael Myers wasn't in it. But I'm still not defending the movie at the same time, because I'm not a big fan of Season of the Witch. You know, I'm not saying it's a shit film. The film did get a lot of praise, and it does have its fan base, but, you know, it was one of those films that I just was not a fan of. Now, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, I absolutely fucking love. I love that movie, Halloween, The Return of Michael Myers. It was great to see Michael Myers come back. You know, it was introducing, you know, brand new characters, and, you know, Jamie, you know. It was a great movie. I loved the rooftop scene and all the different locations, and it seemed more action packed. And I loved the ending where Jamie's holding the bloody pair of scissors, and Donald Pleasance is like, no, you know. It was like, you know, a really cool ending. Now, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, was a really big letdown. I think it was Michael Myers' worst mask. And they totally ignored the ending of Halloween 4, you know, because it was stated that Jamie was going to be a sidekick to Michael Myers, who had some sort of connection, but she appeared to be mute, and it wasn't a very good film. The Revenge of Michael Myers. I wasn't a big fan of that movie. The Curse of Michael Myers, I did not like that movie either. I thought it was a very confusing film and it didn't make much sense to me. H2O I enjoyed. And what I liked about that movie was the ending, where Michael Myers came to his demise, where having his head cut off. And in my opinion, that was the perfect ending for the Halloween films. Michael Myers is finally dead. His head got cut off. There's no way he can grow a new fucking head. He's fucking dead. So then what did they do? They make fucking Halloween Resurrection, where their fucking great idea of a twist was that they cut off the wrong person's head. It was actually a paramedic's head that got cut off, and Michael Myers swapped clothes. And I'm thinking, what? But that's what they fucking did. They had to make another film, killing off Laurie Strode and trick or treat, motherfucker, with these rappers in Michael Myers' house, and, not a very good sequel at all. But now they come out with these later ones now. We had Halloween in 2000, I think it was 17 or 18. Again, not really a fan of that movie. Halloween Kills. I actually enjoyed that movie. I like the killings in that movie. It was nice. It was like a nice aspect. Don't mind Halloween Kills, but this movie, Halloween Ends, and thank God it's ended. I don't like this movie. For the first half of the movie, it's a really big bore fest about this guy named Corey. The film opens up with sort of like a Home Alone scene, with Macaulay Culkin and Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. With him babysitting this kid. The kid locks Corey in the attic, and for some reason he's terrified that he's locked in the attic. He breaks the door, hits the kid. He falls over the banister and falls flat on his face at the bottom of the stairs. And I'm thinking, this seems like a fucking Home Alone movie. Because, was that scene meant to be funny? Was it meant to be tragic? I got a lot of confusion from that scene, thinking, what the fuck happened there? Is this meant to be a funny scene? Is this meant to be a scary scene? Is it meant to be a tragic scene? I have no fucking idea. But what a way to open up a Halloween movie, a kid falling over a banister for locking a guy in the attic who's scared, and he falls to his death at the bottom of the stairs. I'm thinking, what a great way to open up a Halloween movie. And if you're expecting to see a lot of Michael Myers in this movie, you're going to be mistaken, because Michael Myers doesn't really appear till like 40 minutes later, where we find out he's hiding in a fucking sewer. And most of the movie is about Corey getting to know this character, but nobody really gave a fuck about him. I personally did not give a fuck about the Corey character, the fact he's being picked on. He develops this little love scene with a woman who he meets in a hospital, and just in under 2 minutes they fucking fall in love, and the scenes of them riding together on like a fucking motorbike, and while he's being picked on, Laurie gives him a knife to slash the bully's tyres on the car. Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, she didn't really have much to do in this movie either. And her encounter with Michael Myers doesn't really happen till the very end, so she didn't really have much to do in this movie. There's a fucking scene where Corey falls over a bridge, and he gets knocked out. Michael Myers is hiding in the sewer, and he drags Corey's body into the sewer, and instead of strangling or killing him, he just waits for him to wake up. And then when he does wake up, Michael Myers goes to strangle him, but then stops, and they're looking into each other's eyes like they're in love. And it was like as if Michael Myers had some kind of psychic ability. He knew all about Corey. It's like as if he looked into his soul, understood him, and felt sorry for him for being picked on. So again, many people would argue about this, saying it's all about change. But in my opinion, this particular change did not make the movie even better. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on here? Instead of Michael Myers being like the Terminator in Halloween Kills, in this movie he seems more tired and more fucking worn out. and he's not really like this big killing machine. You know, that's another thing about this movie. If you're expecting to see a fucking gore fest, or you're expecting to see some really brutal kills like you saw in Halloween Kills, you don't get that in this movie. In fact, most of these kills you don't even see. It's like when Corey takes, like when he body slams Michael Myers and steals his mask, he runs a girl over in a truck. There's like a bit of a blowtorch scene, and you don't even get to see the actual kills. You know, so this movie, one thing it wasn't for sure was a big gore fest. You know, it wasn't about Michael Myers being this big killing machine. You know, and the film isn't really about Michael Myers. It's all about this Corey character. Like I say, you don't see Michael Myers until like after 40 minutes of this movie. You know, Laurie Strode didn't really have much to do in this movie. She gets involved with Corey in some sort of way, like helping him with the bullies. You know, she's getting blamed for all the kills that happened. You know, and she didn't really have like much to do in this movie until like the end where she encounters Michael Myers. And to tell you the truth, those scenes weren't really much to talk about either. I mean, the film isn't about them. It's all about Corey and being this killer. That's some sort of possession with Michael Myers. I mean, I'm really glad of the ending where they put Michael Myers. I mean, Louis Strode cuts his wrist, cuts his throat, and basically Michael Myers becomes mincemeat because he's put through a shredder and his body gets all mangled. And I'm thinking that's definitely got to be the end of Michael Myers. At least that's what I think anyway. Unless they come up with another Halloween Resurrection, you know, for 2030 or whatever the fuck. So that's basically your movie. I mean, there's not much to tell storyline-wise. There's no interesting story. There's no interesting kills. It's not about Michael Myers being this big Terminator character where he goes on a massive killing spree. It's all about Michael Myers being exhausted, being old, like having this sort of connection with Corey, feeling sorry for him, and Corey being the killer, and about him being bullied, falling in love. And again, it's not your typical Halloween story that you'd get. It's not your typical gory adventure. It's not your typical stalking adventure or brutal killing adventure, you know. And like I said, I went to the cinema to see this with a friend, and all the way through the movie, I'm like, what the fuck are we watching here? You know, I mean, thank God this is the fucking end of the Halloween films. I mean, overall, I think the ones out of the three, Halloween Kills has got to be the best out of the three that's came out. The one in 2017 or 18, I'm not quite sure what year it came out, I didn't care for, but this one's definitely the worst one out of the three latest ones. The title is even misleading, you know what I mean? You would not call this a Halloween movie. You wouldn't, especially with the lack of Michael Myers. It seems like just a boring movie that stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers was simply thrown in as an added character. That's what you'd honestly think of this fucking movie. Again, I'm more of a big fan of the original movies that came out in the 70s and the 80s. You know, those movies are way more better than the three that came out, the latest ones, you know, or whatever. But again, I didn't care for any of the characters. You know, Michael Myers wasn't really interesting. He seemed old and worn out, you know. Jamie Lee Curtis did say in an interview that this is going to be her very last Halloween movie that she's ever going to appear in, and thank fuck for that. Again, I don't know if she'll keep a promise and we'll see more Halloween movies in the future, but I really do hope that's not the case. But you know what today's generation is all like. It's like rebooting everything, remaking everything, and wouldn't surprise me if there'll be a fucking remake of the first movie, you know, in the fucking future. I mean, we had the Rob Zombie films as well, Rob Zombies 1 and 2. I wasn't a big fan of those, you know, and again, I like to remember this character, Michael Myers, as being the stalker, the scary guy who never said a word, you know, stalked his victims, stalked his prey, did brutal killings, and that's the Michael Myers I want to fucking remember, you know, not the ones where he's depressing, old, slow, and that other kind of shit. So that's all I've got to say about Halloween Ends, everybody. I mean, like I said, I went to the cinema to see it. You know, I fucking regret it. You know, it's This has got to be one of the worst Halloween films ever made. You know, shit plot, shit characters, shit storytelling. They had the major change, and the major change didn't cut slack. You know, and again, it was all about the Corey character. I did not give a toss about the Corey character. I didn't give a toss about the fact that he's being bullied, nor the scenes where he fell in love and the love scenes. Didn't care for those. In my opinion, that's not how you create a Halloween movie, basically. So that's all I've got to say, everybody. So please like, rate, and comment, and email me if you've got any questions. And Halloween ends. Glad it's come to an end, and I'm glad this is the last Halloween movie I'm ever going to be reviewing. So thanks, everybody. Peace out. Thank fuck Halloween has ended. Peace.